shortly after Christmas, I got word from the Navy to report to Iowa City, Iowa. And this was University of Iowa, and for pre-flight training. And we were quartered in the dorms there at the University of Iowa. And it was there we had about 3 months of physical training and 3 months of book work. They'd alternated half and half. You'd have a half day physical exercise and a half a day of books. And I never could determine which was the worst. If you had your physical training in the morning, you were so tired and so exhausted you could hardly keep your head up and stay awake in the afternoon through the classes. It was winter, but the rooms were warm, steam heated, and you just fight off sleep. But if they worked the other way around the next week, they'd reverse it. So you'd have the books in the morning and then the physical training in the afternoon. Well, neither of them really were greatly to my liking, because the physical training amounted to cross-country running, which wasn't too bad. We had obstacle course, which wasn't too bad. We had wrestling, which I did not enjoy, nor boxing, which I hated. I can still remember being matched up with a fellow that was about my height, about 6 foot. I weighed 145 pounds and he weighed 175 pounds. And whether it was boxing or wrestling, he would just beat up on me real good just about every day. And I can remember the smell and the taste of blood. My nose, when he bloodied my nose, officers were sitting around all the time watching you, seeing if they could detect any sign of cowardice on the part of these men, these cadets. So you had to keep a stiff upper lip all the time. One of my buddies in the same room with me, Kreuziger, was from a farm in Kansas, and he did not know how to swim. He got in the Navy and they said, "You're going to learn to swim because we can't have a fighter pilot that can't swim." So he was being taught to swim by the Navy. They got him so he could do a little brief swimming and stay afloat, barely. But then one day they decided, well, we have to train him to jump off of a deck of a ship. So how do you simulate this? Well, they had him jump off the diving board. Well, he wasn't going to do it. No way was he going to jump off the diving board into that pool of water. So it was the point where he very nearly attacked an officer over being an officer pushed him off the board. And he was really, really mad, angry. He came back that night and says, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit this. I talked him into staying in, and eventually he went on through flight training, completed, was commissioned, which I was not. And I didn't see Kreuziger again until I guess 1950, when he came to visit the wife and I when we were living on Wendy Lane in Bonita. He was standing out there in his uniform one night, and he was now a jet pilot and in Korea. So he was flying F-9 Phantoms, as I recall, at that time. And Kreuziger's been gone a long time. He died, I guess, another decade after that. From that point on, going back to Navy, I went on up to Minneapolis, Naval Air Station, Minneapolis for primary flight training, and these were in the Stearmans. I had 108 hours in the Stearman, and this was solo and also dual, and it included night flying, night flying, formation flying. And I was considered an average student there, but I had several rather frightful experiences. One of them was landing one night when I failed to lock the tail wheel. Some of the deliveries we had a tail wheel you could lock and the others did not. I had not been, I guess, attentive enough to this problem, and when I landed without the tail wheel being locked and started to put the brakes on. Apparently one brake hitting a little before the other. The tail started to come around to the front, and the officer standing with the crash truck could see nothing but red light, green light, red light, green light, red light, green light as the plane was spinning around. Finally I got it shut down. I didn't drag a wing, but they came out and they knew what I'd done. They said, "Forgot to lock your tail wheel, didn't you?" I said, "Yes, sir." So I got on out of Minneapolis and went to Pensacola, which would have been my last 3 months in the Navy. But then about, I guess, a few days after there, I ended up with a foot infection. I went to sick bay. I was in sick bay, I guess, nearly a week with a badly infected foot, and they got that cured. I got back to the flight line, and my next flight I was scheduled for was check ride for a solo. So I'd had, I think, some 7 or 8 hours